Third question, and please answer honestly. Have you ever had sexual relations with any species considered non-human?
No, never have.
Very well.
I originally sketched the script for this video about 2 years ago, hoping to let the world see what's my favorite way to play Fallout 4, only for every mod listed in said script to be featured in these specific videos from, well, by now is to be considered the default Fallout 4 modding channel. I got demoralized into making anything Fallout 4 or modding related, and the script was left to take dust for all of eternity. I only really carved the DM recently with that one shitty DMC show on Netflix, and that did some numbers. Well, now, hoping that this video comes out shortly after the show premieres and not half a year later, I have an opportunity to finally let the script have a chance at life and release the gameplay part of my mod list. One that I'm very proud of, which is very rare of me. Anyways, enough slander on myself. When playing Fallout 4, I want to have FUN fun. Instead of making my gameplay as excruciating and tedious as possible because of my obsession for taking it in the behind, I say fuck all that realism bullshit. It's never been fun and it never will be. I want something that ties the struggle of a survival with the combat liberties of a third-person action shooter. This said, welcome back on my guide on how to turn Fallout 4 into When I play my modded Fallout 4, I want a fun and balanced experience, and to achieve that in the best way possible, I am going to remove all the RPG mechanics from the game. Starting with Scourge! This mod standardizes stats of every enemy from a specific pool and distributes it amongst NPCs using a Gaussian curve. I do not know what any of these means, and I'm not sure if I phrased it correctly, but your enemies are no longer bullet sponges because their health doesn't scale. There are also options to change enemy speed, which I do not recommend to tweak as it may break animations. Keep in mind this mod has many MCM slides. I suggest you grab MCM Booster if you haven't already. Now enemies are less tanky no matter what level they are. Now let us focus on making the player less of a bullet sponge.
Sorry, Curly. It was fun while it lasted.
This might get me tarred and feathered by angry mil-spec LARPers, but do not get Brandy Boy's Health Overhaul. It's a clunky mod that messes up with the vanilla files too much. There are safer alternatives on the Nexus like the next mod on the list. Unbogus Health Scaling, which keeps the player's health at 100 and adds 20 HP for every point of endurance in your stats. Keep in mind, this mod conflicts with custom races, so if you want to play as a BBW Argonian, you know what to do. Another mod I suggest is Level Cap. This mod simply caps your level to any amount of your liking. I chose to cap it at level 75, but you can set it to any number you want. Now that we are talking about levels, NPC level scaling is a mod that I have been keeping since day one that I started modding. There are much better and updated alternatives such as Unleveled World and maybe Leveled Raiders. However, one allows any NPC to be high level even at the start of the game, and the other one only works with Raiders. Outdated mod or not, NPC level scaling never gave me problems. Oh my machine! I decided to balance chems and general healing with better chems and Stimpaks heal no limbs. The only way we can heal limbs is by either using a Med-X, standing behind cover until it heals, unless you are in survival mode, or by using another mod that adds healing items that cure fractures, like Doctor's Bag, Mustard's Party Favors, core version. There's also Wasteland Wound Care, but holy fuck the vanilla edits. Or you could download MAME instead, but for the love of God, don't be so pathetic. Sighted weapon accuracy fix makes guns more accurate while aiming. Yes, because if you didn't know, in Fallout 4, guns still fire randomly even while aimed down the sight. So there's always a chance you can miss an enemy even when using iron sights or a scope. By the way, this game came out the same year as this game's, more or less. Now we get to the hard part, the locational damage. This one here is a bitch to fix. As Brandy already said, the distribution of damage in this game is kinda kinda crap. Basically, limb damage is a lie. The whole body is a giant health pool, and shooting at the extremities doesn't really do anything except subtract from the total. Same thing applies to armor. Some dude could have his whole limbs covered in combat armor, but have his chesticles out in the open. Your bright mind will think maybe if I shoot him in the chest point blank with a shotgun he'd die, right? Wrong. All of his armor rating merges into one big halo shield, and shooting at any body part, covered or not, results in your weapon doing jack shit due to the insane damage reduction. So many mods in the Nexus try to work around this issue. Most famous is better locational damage, which I never used, neither the old or the Robco version. Direct hit, which is an incredible mod, except it's incompatible with Scourge, which is more than vital to this list. And then there's this one. Not even gonna touch this one, you already know why. I honestly don't have any mod that fixes locational damage. I just use Lethal Headshot version 2 to fix the abysmal headshot multiplier. It's simple, it just sextuples the damage done by headshots, but don't take my word for it. This is Bethesda modding. Anything could blow up at any second. Be afraid. Chemfluence is another mod that overhauls enemy AI to make them more threatening. NPCs use chems and adapt different tactics based on their equipment. It might alright fuck up melee combat though. Sources say that Menteds fix this. Again, don't take my word for it, modding has a mind of its own. Super Mutant Equality gives the whole roster of guns to Super Mutant, finally. And then there's Bastion, which makes power armor more powerful. With spars making PA harder to find, it's just fair that we turn power armor into the tank that it really is. So now that we are done with things that should have been in the game from the start, we can now focus on actually turning the game into something different from the original. For good. Hookable grenade and the timer overhaul, plus melee and throw, because I don't want my enemies to run away from my frag grenades. Uneducated shooter is another mod that is essential in my load order. It allows you to lean and peek around corners, which I find trivial in a game like Fallout. The real reason I have it in my list is because it adds a dynamic height collision system, now allowing you to go under objects if you crouch. How the fuck did Comgerari manage to make all this work? I don't care. Do you think lockpicking is a shitty mechanic and it should die? Lucky bastard. A toolbox won't open? Riveted with a 12 gauge. The game scale cocks you? Kick the shit down. Got a door that's looking at you off? Blow that shit up. This also makes all difficulties for lockpicking accessible even at the early game. You might think this mod is broken, but no. The only thing broken will be your game progress after a lock to an essential cell breaks and cannot be accessed anymore. I'll insert safer alternatives later. Yeah, that's it. We're done with the gameplay tweaks. All the rest I have is different quality of life features that are so miscellaneous that I don't even have the time to comment on them all, so have yet another slideshow, I guess.
I'm as corny as Kansas in August. I'm as normal as blueberry pie. No more a smart little girl with no heart. I have found me a wonderful guy. I am in a conventional dither with a conventional star in my eye. And you will note there's a lump in my throat when I speak.
Now that we've added all kinds of useless stuff, we can start drastically altering the way we're meant to play the game. I will start this section with two of the most controversial additions to this list. Game configuration menu, which is basically a cheat table. I just use it to standardize stats in survival mode to basically turn it into normal mode with different mechanics. I don't like the whole enemies take less damage, you do less damage stick. Survival configuration menu is another cheat table for survival mode, except this mod introduces a different hunger sating mechanic based on weight rather than quantity. Simple attack reactions, simple attack reaction speed, and simple finishers all combined turn your game into RE4. Letting you insta-kill human enemies when they're staggered. Simple dodges and the iframes add-on allows you to dodge projectile! Adding a dodge mechanic with a small time window that grants full invulnerability and a slow time effect when perfectly dodging melee attacks. Half the game is now skill based. On a technical standpoint, Death Matters is a crucial addition to my load order. Fucking times I said it now. Every time you die, you will respawn back to the nearest settlement. And to push people into dying less, all of your items are going to be stripped away from you. I have set it so that respawn can only take me back to settlements that I own, and remove only my caps. It's completely unstable and it almost every time can fuck up for no reason, and can guaranteed break story missions. But who plays the story anyways? And last but not least, intro tweaks. Start Me Up Redux. And skip Kellogg's Memories. Every shitty section has been removed from the game. You can thank me later. Jokes aside, Start Me Up Redux is a very good mod that adds a ton of different ways to start your journey faster and easier. It's especially useful if you want to play permadeath. Very good, and with all that out of the way, finally, the part everyone was waiting for, overhauling the guns and ammunition to have a more consistent... Wait, who the fuck is that? Rat, for God's sake, what is taking you so long? What the hell are you talking about? It's been 3 years and we still haven't been given sauce and all the caked up companions always following you. Wait, there's more than 2 people watching my videos? Stop fucking around, Rat! Okay, but calm the fuck down. I don't understand. First everybody calls me a gooner for having bottom-heavy robot girls chasing me. Then I post it on the internet and everybody gets down on their knees to know which mods add the breast to the wolf girls. Let's just get this over with. Here's what I use for my companions. Clanker, more like clank her. Servitron is the mod that allows you to build assaultrons if they came out of a gacha game that only succeeded thanks to skimpy clothes and Chinese overpopulation. The butterfly preset is custom made, but I will happy to share it once I fucking find out how to. Jezebel Companion lets you keep Jezebel as your companion if you like getting bossed around by this bratty genocidal maniac. Keep Robot Curie does exactly what it says on the tin. Scan. Because fuck trans robotism, am I right? Stone. Tasked. And last but not least, Sarna Female Mutant Companion. I absolutely loathe this mod, and I think it looks horrid. This is a monkey paw wish come true. I have been given the chance to have a big titty Anthro Deathclaw female companion, only for it to look like a diseased oak tree. I fucking hate it, and I will have it removed entirely from a load order if it wasn't for the ballistics. We all know that the weapons are the most important part of the gunplay. No shit, Sherlock. They're the fulcrum of the balance of the entire game, and the modder has to make sure that even with all the new melees, guns, and their attachments, this equilibrium is maintained. But we can't just pop every single weapon mod in the world and call it an overhaul of gunplay. We need to create a sort of ecosystem within the weapons. And at the start of everything, as the soul of our environment, it all starts by selecting our ammunition mod, munitions, and ammo expansion. Except... there is a problem. You see, for better or for worse, Munitions doesn't have all the ammo types in the world. In the original script, this mod should have been paired with an extension, Munitions Additional Ammo, which adds essential calibers like 9x39, 7.62 rimmed, and more. But just recently, Munitions underwent an update that added more ammo, including the previously mentioned and some others matching MAA. And let's not mention how lots of the new ammunition is unnecessary, but that's nothing new. I try to avoid redundancy as much as possible, with weapons, armor, and especially ammunition. I could just ignore MAA and just run the newest version no problem, except all of the patches listed in this section necessarily require both. This is where what's possibly my most damaging suggestion comes into play, using old files. Down in the description there's a link for version 1.2.3 of Munitions. Download that and version 1.1 of Munitions Additional Ammo. If you do not trust me on this, which good on you, you shouldn't, use the latest versions of every mod listed so far and beyond, and skip Munitions Additional Ammo. Worst that can happen is that the new ammunition is not going to be patched for the next mods I will mention. I'm sure that by now you should be able to walk on your own, and that you're able to patch them yourself. One last time, I am going to be using the older files listed before, Munitions 1.2.3 and Munitions Additional Ammo 1.1. Why are we installing an ammunition overhaul? If we wanted some extra calibers, why not something more realistic like caliber complex or armament? First of all, God please no. I chose Munitions and the expansion because of their simplicity, or at least that's what I thought at first. The reason why we installed this ammunition overhaul is that every single weapon we are going to use is going to rely on this ammo pool. Listen, in regards of which guns, it doesn't really matter. You could play the game with vanilla weapons, vanilla friendly weapons, Shitty Fox real life, Modern Warfare imports. I wouldn't care less. All that's important is that they either use or are patched to use munitions. More important is that they don't add new calibers to the Commonwealth, craftable or injected into the level lists. You might think that all of these specifications are going to make your life hell, and you'll be kinda right. Thankfully, there is this very handy mod called Reaper's Robco Munitions Patches. It simply uses Robco Patcher to integrate munitions to various weapon mods without any conflicts or incompatibilities. And trust me, there's a lot of weapons to choose from, lore friendly and not. Another mod I recommend is Weapons Level List Patches. Holy grail for mods that don't have a proper level list. Though fair warning, some of the plugins for weapon mods that integrate new ammunitions have to be patched with Xedit, but that's easier done than said. What I like to have in my load order is that every ammo type has at least 2 or more weapons that serve as a different role in gameplay. Some weapons are made to be precise and conserved, others to be a lightweight option that packs more than a little punch, and others are just excuses to pulverize everything in front of me. But you're simply free to have every weapon you want, if it respects the no new ammo rule. And if it's patched for munitions. Good. We've talked about the weapons. Not much is left but to find the right balance between weight, accuracy, and damage of every new gun we added to the world. This is the part where we need to use our brain and start thinking like a game developer. Changing the stats of every weapon's attachment and upgrade one after the other, making sure that no weapon is truly stronger or weaker. Yeah, nah. True damage, baby! My realism, biatch! Zodicap's Munition Patches has an integration patch for immersive penetration framework, and it also adds Munitions ballistics as a requirement, which adds physical properties to your bullets. All of this is cool and all. Problem is all the Xedit work you have to do later. Oh my god! There is this issue where some bullets tend to explode for no reason, and the weapons that use harpoons, nothing else to add. From this moment on, you're on your own, free to add and remove as many mods as you like. Within reason. And that concludes the final chapter of the final episode of the final series based on Fallout 4 modding. I am sorry for coming to such an abrupt end, but this series has taken my time for far too long. I didn't hate working on it, not at all. I just don't want to base my channel on a game series and nothing else, even if it's the main thing that gives me views. I did this last video as I promised. I promised a series on how to mod Fallout 4 the way I like, and I did it. But from now on, it's all about what I decide to make. I want to thank everybody who survived long enough to see my videos, and I recommend anyone that enjoys them to like and subscribe. Not to boost the algorithm because that thing is busted by itself, but more like feedback because I am losing more and more faith in my capability to entertain. And it's been hard to keep wanting to go forward with all of the recent issues with YouTube. Adding a mandatory kid-friendly mode for the 4th time, the adpocalypse, the 2-tier algorithm, the ad blockers with that buffering before every video, with the website taunting you with that message on the bottom left as a way to say, oh, you noticed that your loading speed is shit even though you have your over 10 gigabytes of download speed. It's the ad blockers, man. Come on, turn that shit off. It's also tiresome for the viewer, the video maker, and the community as a whole. But if it's in YouTube's interest to lose users, then I'm in no position to oppose. It's 2025 anyways, and everybody is free to destroy themselves. This said, I salute you, viewer. Rats out.